Welcome to another edition of Arizona Wildcats Insiders Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Hutchison, and we are getting ready for the 2025 college football season, meaning Arizona Wildcats football will be back in action starting in 24 days as the Wildcats take on Hawaii, the Rainbow Warriors, in Arizona Stadium on TNT. Both programs, this will be the first time they're meeting up since the death of legendary coach Dick Tomey. If you don't remember, Dick Tomey was coached Hawaii, built that program up. Then after Larry Smith left for USC, Arizona hired Dick Tomey. He came over and turned Arizona into a consistent defensive-minded, running the ball football program, one of the tougher football programs of the 90s. So Dick Tomey has that connection there. Is in the Ring of Fame for both programs. Both programs look up to what Dick Tomey did and try to capitalize on that in terms of build upon that. So we'll see Arizona, Hawaii since the passing of Dick Tomey. So I expect a special video tribute before the game for Arizona. That's nothing confirmed, just a thought that, it'll probably happen given the situation of the passing of the legendary coach and the fact that these two programs were coached by him. And you could call this the Dick Tomey Classic or the Dick Tomey Bowl coming up. So as we get prepared for the 2025 season, Arizona is in the middle of training camp with new faces on the offensive coordinating side of the job with Seth Dagey as offense coordinator. You also have the new tight ends coach in Josh Miller. And then the defensive side of the ball, you have new defense coordinator Danny Gonzalez, new linebacking coach there, and new defensive line coach in Joe Salavea. Joe Salavea obviously was part of those teams, the Desert Storm defense back in the 90s, playing for Dick Tomey, and then was on the coaching staff underneath Mike Stoops for one season before that coaching change took place. And now he is back home after trying for many years to get back to Tucson, wanting to be a part of the program and help being a part of the solution. Brett Brennan is the coach that gave him that opportunity, and now he is part of this Arizona program fixing things. So as we're going through these days, Arizona is going through training camp, meaning Noah Fafita and company are getting geared up for the 2025 season. Rosters are being set. Depth charts are being looked at. Nothing official has been announced, and nothing official probably will be until the week of game week. But you're seeing stuff play out. You're seeing patterns emerge. And just recently, the defensive line had a tremendous day against offense. It's been pretty even keel. Offensive line is going through some stuff in terms of mixing and matching guys. The defensive line is looking for that edge rusher, that pass rusher to be the guy. And just this past practice, man, they took it to the offensive line. They're in the backfield constantly during run plays, stopping the run, slowing down the run. And they're causing pressure in the passing game against Noah Fafita, causing him to roll out of the pocket, causing him to step up into the pocket, and causing some bad passes, some incomplete passes, some turnovers, and a couple sacks. They had their way with the offensive line this past practice. If you had to say who won the practice, it was the defensive line. They absolutely dominated the football, dominated the line of scrimmage. Didn't matter if it was screen passes. Didn't matter if it was downfield passes. Didn't matter if it was a run game, option offense. It didn't matter. Arizona's offensive line did not have an answer for the D-line. Now, that's both good and bad. Again, offensive line still trying to figure some things out. Some pieces aren't quite there yet. Defensive line, players are there. So how much of it is a give and take in terms of how good the offensive line is compared to how good the defensive line is, or how much improvement the offensive line needs compared to how much improvement the defensive line needs? I think this was a case where the defensive line just dominated, just clear dominated. I think the offensive line is going through some stuff, but man, that was an impressive performance. And I think you could take away a lot from that. I think obviously Trey Smith is going to be critical on this defensive line. And although Chase Kennedy is listed as a linebacker now, you're going to see him in the backfield. Chase Kennedy is going to be that Swiss Army knife, and he was in the backfield a lot this past practice. Tia Savea, stud. Deshaun McKnight, stud. So, it is a work in progress, but I like what Danny Gonzalez is doing with the defensive line, what Joe Salavea is doing with the defensive line, and the stuff we're seeing thrown at the offense. It's going to be high level for Arizona. Number two, I want to talk about coaching energy. Last season, it was a little bit of where's Waldo with Brett Brennan on the coaching field in terms of the training camp and everything. And he said it during Big 12 Media Day. They had to kiss ass. They had to kiss a lot of people's ass and keep them on the roster, keep them happy, and make sure that they were ready to go, that they weren't going to transfer to a Washington, that they weren't going to transfer to a Michigan, an Alabama, a UCLA, jobs that opened up across the country during that time. Instead, this year, they know the guys that want to be here. They know the guys that have come in. They know the freshmen that have come in. It's all their guys. There's some leftovers from the Jed Fish era, obviously, with No Fafita and company. But they clearly want to be here. They're not leaving. So now they can coach them and not have to worry about stepping on anybody's toes, being too, oh, no, don't worry, you're doing fine. No, it's 100% out there now. You're setting the foundation for the program now. You started it last season, but this is a massive season in terms of building upon that. And you're not only seeing it in Brent Brennan, who's more vocal out there on the field and hasn't been afraid to get in players' faces when need be, and he loves on them too. People talk about that with Dick Tomey. He would get in your face and love on you even harder. You've seen that from Brent Brennan this season. You're seeing that from Alonzo Carter, who, we all talked about, MC Hammer, the dancing stuff last season. That was one of the storylines that he was part of MC Hammer. And he was just, this happy coach and just players coach and da-da-da. He's a players coach. But again, no block, no rock. That's his top mantra. And it's sinking in, especially with the incoming freshmen and Yarborough and Cornelius Warren. That's sunk in. And two, when you make mistakes out there in the drill, like hitting the bar because you didn't get too low or not picking your feet up in the drills, he is going to get into you. We've seen him get into players. Do it again. What did I tell you? And now I'm editing a little bit of it. But then when they do it correctly, they have a good drill, and they have a good 7-on-7 and 11-on-11, he loves on them even harder. And that's the key of coaching, and you're seeing that from this coaching staff right now. Another guy, Josh Oglesby, you can hear him across the football field, making sure his linemen are getting it right and doing what he wants them to do out there on the football field. He is putting it right into their heads what he wants. There's no mincing of words. There's no not understanding. This coaching staff is making it clear. And not only is it on the offense side of the ball, you're seeing it defensively with Joe Salavea. You're seeing it with Danny Gonzalez. You're seeing it with everybody. If players aren't doing it right or they think they're half-assing it, they're doing the drill again. There was a moment in camp, and I can't remember the player, and I probably wouldn't even say the player's name, where the players were walking back from a drill. Drills were still going on, but it's a line. Everybody's rotating, and they were walking back to the line. Woo! Bobby Wade and Brennan got on them like no tomorrow. Don't walk, hustle. Get back. Because you know what? It's not about just walking back in that moment. What happens when you're in a game and you're in the middle of a 2-minute drill? You're up-tempo. It's Seth Dagy's offense. He wants to be up-tempo. And you're slowly walking to the line. You're eating clock. No, get your butt back. Get your butt back. That is what they're instilling on them. It's not just hustle and practice. That hustle and practice translates to the field, and that's what they want to see. So I love what I've seen from the coaching staff. I love what I saw from the defensive line. And then lastly, when you're looking at the running back group, it's been impressive. But before we get there, I want to talk about Noah Fafita. He was slinging the ball. Noah hasn't looked comfortable, in my opinion, since the coaching change compared to Jed Fish's offense going through Dino Baber's offense. It hasn't looked comfortable. It hasn't been that effortless motion, that not thinking, you're overanalyzing stuff, just playing football. It hasn't been that. There's been moments, but you can tell he was really analyzing stuff. This week of practice, it's carefree football again for Noah Fafita. He's not thinking. He's not analyzing what's going out there on the field. He's read and react. And when you get a quarterback in that mindset, read, react, go, and you're not overanalyzing, Obviously, you're making reads. I'm not saying you're not making reads, but you understand the offense. You understand what is needed. You're understanding what's out there on the field. You're not thinking, well, do I check down to this guy? Do I go over here? Oh, okay, the tight end's coming over. No, you know where everything's going to be. All you have to do is read, react, put the ball in place. And right now, that's what Noah Fifita is doing, which is scary for the Big 12, which is scary for Arizona State, which is scary for college football. You look at 2023, Noah Fifita was the best freshman quarterback in college football. No question about it. Arizona went from a team led by Jaden Delora at the time that might have won 6-7 games, maybe, with his struggling offense, to a well-oiled machine by the end of the year that if Noah started from the beginning and you had that repetition from game one, Arizona went 9-3 in the regular season. They could have been 11-1. They would have beat Mississippi State. They would have beat USC. I know Noah played in that game. And there's some moments where the defense failed them. They played a great offensive game. But if you have the time with Noah beforehand and you understand what he can do as a head coach, as an offense coordinator, you're not losing that game. So my point is Noah's not thinking now. He's just doing. He was overthinking in 2024. It led to the 12 picks. It led to the 28 sacks, along with some poor offensive line play. But it led to missed guys over the middle of the field, forcing the ball, overanalyzing. That's what happens when you overanalyze. Now he's just thinking again. This could be a dark horse Big 12 player of the year this season because he's just out there playing carefree football, but in a good way. You're not careless with the ball. He's protecting the ball, but he's not worried. He's not worried if, am I making the right read? He knows what he's doing now. And he's got the correct coaches in place now, especially with the office coordinator. So if I'm a Big 12 team, I'm worried right now because I think Arizona could sneak up on some people.